UFC 316 is set for Saturday night from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. The main event features Sugar Sean O'Malley seeing his first action in the octagon since losing to Merab Dvalishvili, at UFC 306 last September. Now, he had to have hip surgery after that defeat. The two now will run it back in a highly anticipated rematch for the belt. And for more, we welcome in Sportsline MMA analyst Dvalishvili Vithlani. And Danny, when you think about what's at stake for Sean O'Malley for his rematch on Saturday, just put into perspective, what is on the line for him?
You know, he's only 30 years old, but very quietly, Chris, I feel like his legacy is on the line. You look at his record, and he has that early career loss, quote unquote, to Marlon Chito Vera, where he injured his leg and refused to take credit for that loss, right? Then he put together a string of highlight knockout wins. He had the no contest eye poke against Pedro Munoz, that controversial split decision against Petr Yan, the win over Aljamain Sterling to take the belt, but then the controversy of his coach, Tim Welch, yelling out things, pretending to be Aljo's head coach. There's a lot of hijinks around O'Malley's career and some asterisks to some of these fights. He's got to get this one back. Of course, he avenged that Chito Vera loss and absolutely pieced him up over 5 rounds as champion. Now he's looking to reclaim that belt against Merab, and he's got a matchup nightmare in front of him to do so. But his legacy is quietly on the line, Chris. He needs this one.
Okay, wow. So a lot of pressure for Mr. Sean O'Malley. Now, Merab's been on a ridiculous tear with 12 straight wins. He holds the longest active UFC bantamweight win streak. What stands out to you, Danny, about this stretch that he's had where he's been unbeatable?
He's the cheat code. He found a way to break the game, pretty much, right? The way that people complain about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and folks in the NBA spamming the free throws. This is the same way that he's done with his grappling technique. He finds this ability to string together now his striking, throwing this overhand right while he's shooting a single leg takedown. There's no way to defend both at the same time. And although he hasn't been all that dangerous, he's not putting guys away with submissions or knockouts. He's just keeping them stuck in defense and overwhelmed by his pressure and work rate, weaponizing that cardio. He's like that guy you play 2K or UFC 5 against that's just hitting that same button over and over again. Like, come on, man, that's cheap. He found a way to beat these guys. He's a matchup nightmare, and someone's going to have to find a way to either separate him from consciousness to beat him or have the mettle to go deep and beat Merab at his own game, really, and maybe outstrike the guy that has not been knockoutable, right? You got to hurt him enough. You got to work the body. You got to find a way to diminish the machine if you're going to be able to find a way to win a decision.
So what is your best bet when you look at this match between Merab and O'Malley, man?
I'm going to take Sean O'Malley plus 5.5 in the spread market. Spread betting in UFC has really reinvented my approach this year. It's one of my favorite ways to play it because although I do like Sean O'Malley to win this fight, on the money line at plus 230, we can take him plus 5.5, and that implies that even if he loses a close fight on the judges' scorecards, if it goes the distance, we can still cover this. The 5.5 comes down to the combined judges' scores. So if we losing 48-47 would combine to a score of 3, covering the 5.5 to explain for people uninitiated with his betting style. And I could see it being another close one, Chris. The narrative that Merab dominated the last fight and controlled him is kind of wrong. The fight was scored 48-47 by 2 judges. 1 round is the difference. So really, if O'Malley can get that offense started a little sooner, if he can work back to his speed a little quicker, I think he can hurt Merab. You saw that teep to the body in the 5th round hurt him bad, and every judge gave Sean O'Malley that 5th round. That is a huge point to me because normally by the 5th round, Merab has drowned you with his pressure. O'Malley can go the whole way with him, and he can win 3 rounds. I like him to do so, but for a little bit of wiggle room, I'll take the plus 5.5 spread. Even if he loses, we can still catch the ticket.
I love to see it, man. Can't wait to see if Merab's 12-fight win streak goes out the window against Sean O'Malley. Now, then we got the co-main event with the women's bantamweight title matchup between Juliana Pena and Kayla Harrison. What is your best bet there, man?
Man, this is going to be a sweat, but I'm going to go with Kayla Harrison to win by decision at plus 240. This is going to be a sweat because Harrison's physicality is overwhelming to most of her opponents, and if she's doing early damage on Pena, well, this one may end inside the distance. But Pena's known for her toughness and her mental edge. I think maybe she could drag this one out into deeper waters where she'll have her best chance to pull off the big upset. Kayla Harrison's physicality and strength is unmatched in this division. She walks around at about 170 pounds. Chris, this is the first time she's ever made 135 in her career, and she looked a lot skinnier, looked like a different person on the scales. She looks to be healthy. I think she'll be in good shape and win this fight, but I could see a world where maybe she manages that cardio drop-off, fearful of fighting a tough fighter like Pena going 5 rounds. Maybe she's got to play it a little more carefully. Maybe Pena shows that toughness, and we get a decision from Kayla Harrison.
All right, now time to go all on the line. And Danny, what is your all on the line? Throwing all your chips in for your best bet for UFC 316.
Push them all into the center of the table for Patchy Mix, making his debut, coming in from the PFL Bellator promotion. And the narrative around this, Chris, is that the PFL and Bellator guys aren't up to snuff, right? The UFC guys are so much better. But Patchy Mix is an elite bantamweight. He's actually a training partner of bantamweight champ Merab Dvalishvili, and his grappling is up to par. His rear naked choke and guillotine squeezes are lethal. His back takes, positional savvy is top class, and I think he's going to prove that in this matchup. The UFC have him going against Mario Batista, a very skilled grappler in his own right, and a guy that just beat bantamweight legend Jose Aldo in a very boring and uneventful fight. Very Merab-like, kept him stuck and neutralized against the fence. Now they give him a guy in Patchy Mix that can match him in that grappling department. I think he wins out when they tangle. I love Patchy Mix to pick up a win his UFC debut.
All right, so now I'm going to put my whole entire amount of rent on this on this fight, and if you are right, I will be thanking you. If you're wrong, I will have a conversation offline. Danny Brasco, appreciate the time, man. And here's a look at the full main card for UFC 316 from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. We'll have full highlights and post-fight reaction on Saturday night right here on CBS Sports HQ.